When we start building distributed systems, there is a fundamental problem of physics that we have to deal with. Distributed systems are systems that are separated by space. Now, this can mean a lot of things. Your system could be deployed across multiple data centers. It could also be within the same data center, just deployed to different hardware. Or it could mean that it's deployed to the same hardware. It doesn't really matter what scenario we're talking about. The fact is, even if it's deployed to the same hardware, a distributed system is one where information has to be transferred between different parts of that system. And when that information is transferred, it's crossing some sort of space. It could be going over a local network. You could be writing it to a disk. You could be writing it to a database. The point is, there is some sort of transfer of information happening. Now, physics puts an upper limit on information speed, and that upper limit is the speed of light. There's no way to avoid that, at least not that we know of yet. And so as a result, we have to accept the fact that information cannot be transferred instantaneously. It takes some time. Granted, that time could be very small, but there is an amount of time that elapses during the transfer of information. So when two systems are separated by space, it means that there is always time required to reach consensus. If you want two pieces of your system to agree on the state of the world, then they have to communicate with each other in order to come to some sort of consensus. That takes time. Again, this is a limitation of physics. In the time that it takes to transfer the information, the state of the original sender may have changed. So we have one piece of the system that wants to inform another piece about its current state. So it sends that information over the network. By the time that information arrives, the original sender may not be in the same state anymore. It may have changed state. And this is the fundamental problem that we're talking about. The problem is that the receiver of information is always dealing with stale data. You send the information, it takes time to arrive. By the time it gets there, it's now stale. And this applies whether we're talking about computer systems, people, or even the real physical world. Even in the physical world, when something happens, we still have to deal with the speed of light. Information cannot go faster than that. So if I'm having a conversation with somebody, maybe they ask me how I'm feeling, and I tell them I'm feeling fine. By the time that information gets to them, my state may have changed. I may have suddenly got a headache or a stomach ache or something like that. I may not be feeling fine anymore. So the key here is to recognize that when we are dealing with a distributed system, we are always dealing with stale data. Reality is basically eventually consistent.